PR Connections Radio presents
Oh, Dan, you're muted. You're muted.
Man, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, I was talking to a client on the other line, but hey, that music
Oh,
was jamming.
you're celebrating the music coming in.
Hey, the music was jamming, man. Hey, what can you say, man? This is awesome. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Crypto and Cash Show. We're going to have a lot of fun today. This is strictly educational, and this is for entertainment. But, you will learn a few things because we want to teach you some insider information in the world of the crypto and what's going on. And no one better that I know than the famous Mr. Bret and the man. Bret, man, how you been doing, buddy?
Good. I don't know about the fame, but other than that, Bret Teddy.
Did I say petty? Oh my God, am I tripping?
No. I'm good, man. So I saw you at the NFL huddle last Wednesday. Did you stay for the whole thing?
Yeah, we had the table, man. We're blowing up, man.
That's
we
what
had
I
man, that program we got 25,000 people on the waiting list to join that program.
You know what, Dan? You hustle more than 21-year-olds I know. Like you're everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's Dan set up right.
Hey man, you know what? Man. You know what? I like to have fun, man. I'm out there, man. These guys, my buddies, they're in their 60s, man. They're all like, they don't go anywhere. All they do is sit around and watch TV and watch sports. And then the next thing you know, I just happened to me 2 weeks ago. One of my buddies, man. I get a message, man. I had a massive stroke. 2 days later, man, he was gone, bro. You got to stay active. That's why I'm in the gym every morning, man. I'm like, I'm not going out like the typical guy who sits around drinking beer.
You, Dan, is like you've got the mentality like you're a 22-year-old. I love it, man. You know, like live forever until you don't.
Gotcha. Hey, man, if you want to stay alive, you can make as much money as you want to, but there ain't no wealth without no health. Shoot.
That's the thing, man. It's like you're at the point where you don't need to, but you do it just because you enjoy it. Like you enjoy getting out there. You love doing business. You love the interaction. It keeps you young. It keeps you alive, right?
I mean, and you meet so many nice people, man. There's some really nice people out there. The jerks come through, and you can tell who they are too. After like a couple minutes, they got their little attitude sometimes. But
they're in every room. Right?
Yeah,
in every class, in every school, in every job, in every room, there's always that one person or a couple people. Here's the great thing about it is if you think that, everyone else probably thinks that about them too.
Yeah, exactly, man. And they don't bother me. I'm just all right, man. Nice to meet you, man. Hey, all right, have a great day. Boom, I'm gone.
Yeah. Enjoy your life, brother. Talk to you later. Right?
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man. We talked right before the show came on. Man, like I said, Bret is a diehard Packer fan. I'm a diehard 49er fan. And that game had me in pins and needles. And your Green Bay Packers, man, deserve to win that game. They outplayed them.
Well, it doesn't matter who does, I mean, if we had $1 for every time someone deserves something in life, I mean, we played well. But, I mean, listen, if we can't come through in the end, then we don't deserve to win. So our only saving grace is we're the youngest team in the league. And Jordan Love, our quarterback, I mean, man, that guy really – it would be absolutely phenomenal to go from a Brett Favre to an Aaron Rodgers to a Jordan Love.
Man, Jordan, hey, man, he has come on, man. I'm like, that dude is dangerous.
But what about Brock? The kid's from Iowa State.
Hey, man, the kid's a bomb too, man.
Dude, he's going to be Joe Montana. I'm telling you, he's he needs to win some championships, but I mean he's solid for sure. So we're both fortunate, right?
Yeah, very fortunate, man. Anyway, everybody, I know you guys are not here to hear about football. I know you want to hear about, but this is a podcast. So the cool thing about a podcast is we can act the way we want to act, do what we want to do, talk what we want to talk about, and hopefully, more importantly, as you can tell, we always have fun. So we want you to
Yeah,
join in on the fun. It's always about fun, man. So what's up with what have you been doing in the crypto world, man? Let's inform our audience what's going on.
Well, so as I'm sure everyone knows, there was a bunch of ETFs that were released, basically a bunch of ETFs approved. So now you're having huge hedge funds like Fidelity or BlackRock that are offering Bitcoin. So it's a way to get exposed to Bitcoin without having to actually buy the physical underlying asset. So what they essentially do is they go out and buy the Bitcoin, and then they offer you basically shares into that Bitcoin. So it's a lot safer for people than, well, it's not, but I mean, the mentality is that people can say, okay, well, I'm buying, in a sense, my Bitcoin value through Fidelity, or I'm buying it through BlackRock, or I'm buying it through some major institution that has responsibilities and repercussions to make sure that they're aligned with everything, right?
Hey, can you explain, Brett? Can you explain for those who don't or are kind of newer to crypto what exactly you kind of just did, but for those who don't know what an ETF means?
Yeah, so basically it's an exchange traded fund. So basically it is everybody. So what a fund basically is in a sense like BlackRock or like I said, or Fidelity or some other major hedge fund. What they do is they go out and they purchase a bunch of assets in a certain class. In this case, it's Bitcoin. They're going out and buying a bunch of Bitcoin and they're put into one gigantic fund. So what you are doing is you're not directly buying Bitcoin, you're buying a share into that fund. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
similar like stocks.
And it has to be, and that fund has to be approved through the SEC, which it has now. It's a lot safer in people's minds for major, like the point is this, it brings in a lot of institutional money now, because now you can have a 401k and there can be pension funds that are going to buy maybe 5% into this or 10% into this, or like anything else where you diversify your assets. This can be another diversified asset that you can invest in, but in the so-called not take the risk of having to buy Bitcoin on a crypto exchange market. So if you don't know that much about Bitcoin, you're probably not going to go onto a crypto exchange and buy Bitcoin and then know I need to store my crypto onto a hard wallet. You're not going to know all that stuff, nor do you want to. You just want the value behind it. So the way to do that is to invest in an ETF through one of these major hedge funds. Does that make sense? Yeah, so you're buying into the fund. You're not buying Bitcoin, the physical asset. You're buying into the fund that owns a bunch of Bitcoin.
Yeah, for those of you that are familiar, I would say, isn't that very similar to like a mutual fund where you're not directly,
correct,
participating in stock market?
All it is just another fund, like anything else, right? Just like they'll have a real estate fund, they're known as REITs, right? Real estate investment, whatever, different funds that people have. This is just another fund. So all they're doing is going out, and the company's going out and buying the physical underlying assets. And then you as a trader or a stock owner will buy part of that fund. So I grow a company, you're buying part of my company, just like a stock. But the company is Bitcoin or whatever fund it is. Right. If that makes sense. So here's what happened basically with that is it came out and it was the largest inaugural ETF release basically in the history of all ETFs that have ever happened. But there was a lot of buildup to it and one of the main companies that you could invest in basically Bitcoin before it was licensed on the stock market. When you did that, it allowed you to buy it at a premium. which basically means that I buy it, but I'm getting a 15 or 20% premium on my buy. When it became legal through ETFs, those premiums were no longer allowed. So you had a lot of people who have been holding this fund or holding GBTC, which was a stock, for years. And when they basically said, well, we're at a pretty good high right now, we're no longer going to be able to get the reward of our premiums, so we're just going to sell. Because now they're just going to get rewarded like everybody else. They're not going to get rewarded with their premiums. So they sold it, and they'll probably buy back later, but it's just doing its thing right now. It went up to 45,000 initially, and now I think it's back down to like 41,000.
Yeah, it might have even dropped a little bit more. I think
it might have dropped a little bit more. It might have been 40,600, whatever it is. And to be honest with you, I think personally it might drop down to 35,000 or so. But you know, I don't know. But you know, you should be buying it like you do. If you're going to buy it to day trade, that's a different story. I would never advise day trading unless you really know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
You buy it and you sit on it and you let it grow. And now it's accessible to institutional markets. Does that make sense? Before, it was mostly retailers, which are people like you and me, regular Joe Schmoes, going out individually and buying it. Now, you're having major companies and pensions and all these other things that are coming in and buying it because now it's regulated, basically.
That's pretty awesome, man. You know, for people that are in the know, you know, that's really good. Now, I guess a lot of the Bitcoin and crypto naysayers that were always so negative about it, I bet their whole their whole attitudes have been turned around by what's going on.
Well, I mean, there's a saying in the Bitcoin community, which is, I forgot what number it is, but Bitcoin's died for the 347th time.
Yeah,
which is,
I heard that.
There's always an article how Bitcoin's gonna die. It's a scam. It's never going back. I mean, it's like it's hundreds and hundreds of times it's been said. And my response, excuse me, is that Bitcoin doesn't care. Like, that's the brilliant simplicity about Bitcoin. It doesn't care.
Sure does.
You think what I think, what the world thinks. You know what Bitcoin does? Bitcoin does what Bitcoin is supposed to do every single day. A peer-to-peer, trustless system where you don't need anybody to transact through the world and have value. It still does what it was designed and always designed to do. So all these things of what it might do, might not do, and this and that, this is all humans' opinion. And, you know, it like I said, it's a computer protocol. It doesn't, a machine does what a machine does, regardless of what you and I have to say. So it's, you know, even though it's supposed to have died a million times and it's gone way down, it's gone way up, and it's gone everything in between, and people would try to do this and that, it doesn't matter. It's still there, still doing the same thing it was designed to do from day number one, period.
You know, I can't remember the lady's name. She is huge. Kathy, is it Kathy something? She has a, she was over here and then she moved over to England. Kathy, she's a big time, you know, known throughout the industry and not just in the overall stock market and crypto industry. Kathy Woods, you ever heard of her?
Kathy Woods, yeah.
You know what? You know what she? Yeah, you know what she says.
There was one that opened up a fund for it.
Okay. You know what she? Do you know what her? That's right. It sure is. You know what her prediction was by 2030 that one Bitcoin would be worth $1 million. She said that about 6 months ago and came out, and I was like, wow, she's pretty bold about that.
Well,
and by the way,
think about this. I mean, Bitcoin as a payment system, there's a lot better payment systems when it comes to blockchain. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But to me, Bitcoin wasn't designed for that. Bitcoin was designed to be a store of value. And to me, why it's relevant is every country in the world, included and started by the United States, was to go off the gold standard, which means all the money that we print in the United States and all the money that any country in the world prints is backed by absolutely nothing, other than what I like to say is like your military. You know, so it's not backed by anything. So to me, if you have to have the same characteristics for a store of value that are there digitally to make sure that everything is honest, then it's served its purpose. So think about it being a store of value for even half of the world, right? Even half of the world says we're going to start accepting this as a store of value or using it for some form of value. Now think about all of the money that exists in the world in real estate, in bank accounts, in stocks, in funds, whatever it is. All the money that exists, let's think about all the wealth in the world. Even if only half of the world adopts it at some point, take half of all the wealth in the world and divide it by 21 million Bitcoin, which is all that will ever be made. What does that number come to? I mean, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars divided by 21 million. There won't even be one Bitcoin for every millionaire in the world.
Wow. Oh, that's crazy, man. Say, tell me what, I know you like to do controversial stuff on TikTok. What's been getting, well, tell us what you've been doing over there, man. What's going on?
I'm taking a break from that a little bit because I was doing another podcast with this other guy, but he had to kind of take a hiatus for a couple months because he was changing brokerages and he had to kind of get some things together. But we'll be starting that back up, and that's where I take all my clips from. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's, and here's the thing with a lot of my videos, first of all, they're personal opinions. Second of all, it's like I'm just saying things half the time just to get it out there, right? And to me, it's amazing how many people take the internet serious. It's like it's social media. I'm not on there like teaching at a college. You know, and like two of the things were like this one thing I talked about, the 80-year theory, which basically said that every 80 years there's a movement in the United States that changes the course of our history. And I basically traced it back and I said, in the year 2024, I go, if you go 80 years before that, it was the end of World War II in 1944. If you go to 80 years before that, it was the end of the Civil War, 1864. People are going back and forth. Oh, you're off by a year. It actually ended in 1865 and 1945. Like,
yeah. Well, I can tell everybody is our audience this. I don't personally think you're going to see. I don't think you're going to see the end of crypto. I really, maybe another 80 years, but in the meantime, you guys, we are big crypto enthusiasts. You know, we believe in it.
Isn't going anywhere. It's people need to understand the underlying value of crypto is to facilitate and transfer value without a middleman.
Right.
That's what it does. You know, so like take for example, you have a home, you want to take out a home equity loan, right? Your mortgage is $300,000 when you bought it 10 years ago, and now your house is worth $500,000.
Right.
There's $200,000 of equity you have built in your house. Okay, you want to pay some bills, your kid's going to college, paying for a wedding, whatever it is, you want to take out, say, $100,000 of that. Right now, in order to do that, you have to go to the lender, fill out all the paperwork, do this, do that, and it takes a week, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, cost you a couple $1,000s, whatever it is, for what? For you to get value out of something that you already own. That's already your value.
Right.
But if you have like a decentralized financing application on your phone, you can literally go there and through cryptocurrency, you're able to basically get the equity out of your house instantly.
Right.
So you sit there and you're like, hey, listen, I'm the one that has $200,000 of value in my house. Not you, not you, not you, me. Why do I need, like, what if I want to take $100,000 out of there and I want to stick it into this, this, and this, and this? Right. In order for me to do that, I got to do this. I got to wait for them to get back to here. Then I got to move it over here. Then I got to do that. All you're doing is waiting for people and gates and gatekeepers to do their job and for the systems to be in place. But if all these systems were automatically automated in protocols, you could literally say, I want to take out $100,000 of home equity, and you still have to do the proper KYC, which is they need to know who you are and you need to prove this and whatever it is, but that takes mere minutes. Once you do that, you literally go to your phone, click, click, click. Now you've drawn out $100,000 and you can now facilitate it wherever you want to else on the internet like that without having to wait on anybody. That's what blockchain, and that's more specifically what cryptocurrency does. It allows you to transfer and facilitate your value without needing anyone to do it instantaneously.
Can you educate, remember we were talking about the program that you shared with me about, it's similar to an equity line, but there's no deeds or recordings against your home or anything like that. For rental property.
That I told you about? Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
I was going to actually talk about that too. That was Block Square.
Yes, that company.
Block Square. So basically what they do is if you own a rental property and like you wanted to do like 15%, right?
Yeah. So
you don't have to do 50%. You don't have to do all of it. You don't have to do any of it, right? Mm-hmm. You take like 10%, 15%, whatever it is. And what you do is you agree to basically take that equity and stake it at this cryptocurrency company. So you still own all the rights to your property and your deed and your title. You still have 100% ownership to everything of your house and title. All you're simply doing is agreeing to take a certain percent and take that certain percent and lock it up for a minimum 6 months. Because you're doing that for them, you get a bunch of their cryptocurrency.
That's right.
Right? So look at it this way. That 6 months is sitting there. For 6 months, you can't sell that house, but you still own 100% equity that whole time. After 6 months, you say, I want to get out of it, and you get your cryptocurrency. What you're essentially doing is they're borrowing your credit. Here's a good way of putting it. They're not borrowing your credit, but the more underlying value that they can have staked behind their company, the more worth it gives their company legitimacy. So look at it this way, which is like, say you're co-signing on somebody. You have a kid that doesn't have the best credit. They say, Dad, will you co-sign on my loan for my mortgage? And you're like, okay, cool. What are they doing? They're essentially borrowing your credit. But it's not your credit. They're borrowing a percentage of your equity for, say, 6 months. And because of that, you basically get paid in this cryptocurrency for that. So you don't ever have to sell your house. You don't have to ever give up legally 10% or 15% of your title. You don't have to ever do any of that stuff.
Right.
So if you're holding on to it anyways.
What happens?
Go ahead.
What happens if the value of their whatever their cryptocurrency just goes from wherever it is and it tanks? You still own your same interest in your property, right?
They're giving you cryptocurrency, so it's all free cryptocurrency you're getting.
Right.
So if it goes down in value, it might go down in value, but it didn't cost you anything.
Right. It's like a no-brainer.
It goes up 20 times in value.
I never heard from those people.
It's the risk reward thing. Like I say, I always do risk reward on every single thing. If people want to know more about it, let me bring up the thing and I'll send them the block square. I believe that's it. So yeah, they can look into it all they want, but yeah, it's just, you know, it's another option. But then again, you know, and here's the thing. They would love to say, hey, you can sell us 10% of your house and we'll tokenize it so that we have it in the market and this and that. But the SEC will not allow that yet.
Right. Okay.
Mexico, they could do that for you because this is an international company. If you owned a house in Spain, they could do that for you.
Really?
But the United States so far. And it's obviously important for them to follow the letter of the law and to be compliant with everything because they're thinking about the future and they're not thinking about the immediate. And they want to be a footprint in the future. So if you own something like, say, Puerto Rico or Venezuela or something, I mean, they could totally sell part of the equity for you. And this is the only way they can do America right now.
Speaking of that, what's your opinion about sort of like the turnaround with Gary Gensler as far as allowing his ETFs? Because, you know, he fought it out for a long time.
He doesn't want it, but he got outvoted. Like, it doesn't matter. That's the thing. He even came out the day the ETFs were released, and he was like, they're basically going against my advice, but people are free to do what they want.
Oh, he finally gave in. Good.
He didn't give in. He didn't have a choice.
Right. Good.
He got outvoted. I mean, it's, you know.
Is that all the other governors on the Securities and Exchange Commission?
What's that?
Is that the other governors on the Securities and Exchange Commission? Okay. I
mean, they agreed. I mean, here's the thing: is at the end of the day, when they submitted their ETFs for approval, like there was no reason to not deny it. Right. Like, that's the thing. Other than I don't like you is not a reason. It's like I always tell people when you buy a house, they're like, well, I lose my earnest money. I'm like, not unless you're like a day before closing and you're like, I just don't like the house anymore. Well, that doesn't work.
Wow.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's cool. Well, hey, Bret, you know, I got a lot to do today, so I got to rock and roll. But go ahead and give people, if they want to reach out to you, what you guys probably know if you've been following our show, that, you know, Bret Jenny is probably one of the top realtors in the Las Vegas area. So, Bret, go ahead and give them how to get in touch with you.
I mean, you can just go to simplyyourhouse.com, simplyyourhouse.com. And that's my main realtor website. And then I'm on social media, Vegas Crypto Agent. Although I will warn you that my reels have nothing to do with real estate and all about entertainment. Like, that's the thing, man. It's like when I started being really entertaining, I started getting a lot of followers and a lot of eyes on me. So it's like, you know, man, agree, disagree, you can't argue. I'm not entertaining. And like, to me, that's what the internet's for. That's what social media is for, is entertainment. Like, I'm not teaching a school.
I do the videos too. How long? Hey, what's the longest you can have for a TikTok video? Is there?
I think you can have up 3 minutes or 4 minutes or longer. I always do everything under a minute.
Yeah, I try to do 60 seconds when I do them. Okay,
I mean, even 30 seconds, people just don't care.
I know they don't.
We like to make ourselves believe that we look good doing our videos, but people don't care. And that's what I'm saying is, like, when I tried, people didn't care, and then when I started being entertaining, that's why.
You know what? You got, man. Hey, man, as soon as we get off of this, which we're about to do right now, I'm going to make a TikTok video right now. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about something. So everybody, you got Bret's information. If you want to reach out to me, you can go to my website, uncledanconsulting.com, or you can reach me. You can actually call me on my cell. Yeah, I'm going to give you my live cell, 415-756-6007. And I do not live in San Francisco anymore. I'm in Vegas with Bret. Hey, look, thank you for coming on and viewing the Crypto and Cash. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bret, I'll catch up with you later.
Catch up with you later. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks, man. Bye-bye.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.